This story is brought to us from actionnews5.com out of South Haven, Mississippi. This one is tragic. I mean, this one, and it doesn't get any better. This guy was home in bed with his wife, sleeping, when officers came and banged on his door. He ends up dead. It gets worse. He's not the guy they were looking for. Well, guess what? It gets even worse than that. 2 South Haven police officers involved in the 2017 death of 45-year-old Ishmael Lopez have been found not liable, according to court records that were filed Thursday. Now, Lopez was shot and killed by a South Haven police officer in 2017. Officers went to the wrong mobile home while serving a warrant for domestic violence, and the encounter turned deadly. Well, that's because there were cops there. The warrant was intended for Samuel Pearman, a man who lived across the street from Lopez. Now, the case was reviewed by the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation. This is how crooked Mississippi is. According to the MBI report on July 24th of 2017, Lopez was in bed with his wife, Claudia Linares, when they knocked on the door. You know how cops knock on the door. Police! The report says police could hear footsteps heading toward the door. Then a porch light went off. The door opened and a dog ran out, and Lopez pointed a rifle out of the open door. Now, would he do that if they knocked? No. He had a rifle because they were probably banging on the door. Maybe they did knock. I don't know. I'm just being facetious, maybe. But either way, he's protecting his home. He don't know what's going on. The dog's probably, now it says a dog ran out. The dog's probably like, he's like, whoa, who's at the door, man? South Haven police officer Samuel Mays fired once at the dog, and South Haven police officer Zachary Durden fired multiple times at Lopez, who was shot as he ran from the door. So he turned to run, and they're still shooting at him because he's got a rifle. Well, it's his home. I don't know. Linares told MBI investigators through a translator that she ran to the living room after hearing gunshots and saw Lopez on the floor. She was taken outside and handcuffed. And again, they're not even the right people. A third officer, Sergeant Thomas Jones, was at the scene but didn't fire his weapon. He told investigators he heard Durden order Lopez to drop the rifle several times before shots were fired. I don't believe it. I don't believe it for one moment. I just don't believe you. I don't believe you, Sarge. I don't believe you. According to the MBI report, Mays said he and Durden checked the home for additional threats, cuffed Lopez, who was breathing laboriously, and began to render aid until another officer arrived. So he's breathing laboriously. What do? Do they try to render aid? No. First they handcuff the guy as he's shot, going, then they render aid. You got to handcuff him first. You never know. You might just jump up and go, hey, I'm good now. No, he's dying because you shot him. And he wasn't the guy you're looking for. Lopez died at the scene. Now, when state investigators arrived at the crime scene, they saw Lopez lying in a prone position with his hands cuffed behind his back in the middle of the living room floor. A rifle was positioned on the couch. The autopsy revealed he died from a gunshot wound to the base of his skull. The grand jury declined to indict the officers, who investigators say never identified themselves. Did you hear that? The investigators say they never identified themselves. They just started shooting. The family requested a federal civil rights investigation, but the U.S. Department of Justice declined to take the action because federal investigators believe the case was unwinnable. You hear that? We can't win. No, we're not taking it. Nah, we're not here for justice. We're here for victory. The U.S. Department of Justice said, we can't win that one. No, get out of here. That's what it's all about, guys. Justice is not about the truth or justice. It's about getting that chalk mark under the victory. They want to take that W, not that L. They want that. If they can't get a W, they ain't doing it. That's what justice is about. In 2019, after the MBI's findings were released, Lopez's attorneys and widow filed a lawsuit against the city of South Haven, the South Haven Police Department, and its officers, alleging Lopez was wrongfully and unconstitutionally killed by the officers. I agree. According to a verdict out of a federal court in Mississippi, neither Durden nor Mays was found guilty of violating Lopez's Fourth Amendment rights against excessive force by a police officer. So these guys basically just walk. Investigators say they didn't identify themselves. They're knocking on his door late at night. I don't remember. I don't think there was a time. It doesn't say what time, but he was in bed with his wife. It was night. There was a porch light that went off, so obviously it was late. And they just shot him in his own home. And he was the wrong guy. What are they going to do about it? Nothing. And the police, law enforcement, you guys wonder why everyone hates you. It's not because they hate you personally. It's because they hate you because of guys like Durden and Mays. Those two cops. That's why people hate you guys. It's because of Derek Chauvin. That's why people hate you guys. It's because of the cops who met Elijah McClain. That's why they hate you guys. If one of you, just one of you cops would step up and go, you're under arrest, and arrest your partner when he violates somebody's rights, well, I'll get fired. Yeah, but you'll be a hero. Maybe somebody will like you. But when you turn your head and go, oh, we're going to have to write the report on this one. So what happened? What are we going to say? When you do that, you're not winning any fans.